This is what happens. You get into a business, especially like I am in direct sales, and you find somebody. And I remember when social media first came out, and every time you saw something, it was always the great stuff. It was always the wonderful stuff. You never saw them. Oh, hey, Nelson, how are you? Good to see you. You never, it's like you knew they had the secret ingredients, right? You knew they did because you never caught anything bad in all of it. It's like they never had valleys. It's like they never tripped. It's like they were never not consistent. It's like you were like, this is the person I need to follow because they get it right all the time, right? Well, if you've been following me at any point in the journey, you know that's not me. Now, when I did that, hi Alyssa, how are you? When I did that initially, what happens is when you follow somebody and it's always the good stuff, it's great if they're just trying to motivate you or inspire you because we all need that, right? But what happened is I started feeling like maybe there were things in life that I wasn't cut out to do. Maybe I'm not cut out for this thing that I do with Avon. Maybe I'm not cut out for hi Tawana. Maybe I'm not cut out because they always seem to not have stuff happen. They've never had sicknesses that we know of. They've never had a tough time with a team member that we know of. They've never had issues with their marriage that we know of. And it's okay. I'm not saying that everybody is going to be a Molly and they're going to share. But what happened is I started thinking maybe this isn't supposed to be for me because I don't understand. I am following the directions. I am doing what I should be doing. And I still keep finding these roadblocks. I still keep finding these times where I messed up or this didn't work or that didn't work. And what I figured out is the reason that people get better, the reason, whether they share it or not, the reason that they are able to handle things better, it's because of those dark spots that maybe they're not comfortable with sharing, and you got to be okay with that. But quit putting people up on a pedestal that you're like because you see them maybe in the top 10 of life or the top 10 of business or the top 10 of marriages or whatever that looks like. You got to quit putting them on a pedestal because what's going to happen is like me on some avenues I find something out and I go, whoa, whoa. Like, I would have never known that they were doing this in business. I would have never known that they were going through this in their marriage. I would have never known. And I don't know. Maybe sometimes my family gets upset with me because I share too much, according to them. And that's okay. They're allowed. They are allowed. Our family has always been, I was raised with that factor that says what happens in the family stays in the family. Whatever happens in this house stays in this house. And let me tell you what I learned from that. I learned from that when you are the person who just keeps that issue right there like a hidden dirty secret, and nobody is seeking help and nobody's seeking how to handle anything differently, that what happens is history repeats itself time and time and time and time again. If you feel like you're trying to build a team and you don't understand why things are because you're doing the same old thing, nothing changes when nothing changes, right? That is how it is. Or even in your marriage, if you're not seeking something higher than you, God, somebody who knows the story before the ending gets there. Somebody that no matter what decisions you choose, and yes, no, he's not telling you you have to choose anything. We have free will. You don't even have to choose him. But what he can do is in the midst of any storm that you have ever been in, even when you chose to take that boat directly into the storm, if you pause and you let him use even the worst things that can happen to you in your life, you can grow from it. I have had, I said to Lee and to, I was texting with my niece last night. I talked to a couple of my nieces, and but I was talking to one of my older nieces, Jen. I was texting with her, and I was sharing with her that I had just lost a high school friend. Not somebody that I'm close to anymore, but see, I come from this small atmosphere. I went to a private school. It didn't matter if you were in ninth grade or 12th grade. Everybody knew everybody, right? So it's not like you only knew people in your class because you came from a school that had 1,200 kids. That wasn't where I came from. So when you hear about a loss with people, whether they were a little older than you or a little younger than you, it hits. It hits because you knew them. You knew their family. You knew their brothers. You knew their sisters. In the past year, I can think of, a friend who lost her husband suddenly, and he was only a year older than me. The most recent, only a year older than me. And I said to her, I said, sometimes I hate social media. Sometimes I hate having so many followers. I watch people who are losing people every single day, who are struggling in their marriages and their self-image every single day, who are letting people knock them down every single day, who are believing the narrative that people are saying to them that they are not worthy. People who are determined they can never get used to the loss of somebody, and nobody is asking you to forget a loss. Not asking myself to do that. But sometimes I have learned, one, it constantly reminds me that life is very short, people. Life is very short. And if you're watching me right now and you're in your 20s and your 30s and your 40s, let me tell you something. Don't think you're promised seeing almost 60. I don't know. Maybe God has different thing between now and June 21st. Hi, Gwenda. Hey, Steph, I see you there too. What I'm telling you is you're not promised. I have watched, I have had a person, I say have because we were great friends in school. And I remember some years ago that they told me that he had committed suicide. I had just seen him the month before. Hey, Tiff, how are you? Hey, Leslie. I had just seen him the month before. We had run into each other. I mean, we hadn't seen each other in years. And to talk to him, he seemed to have it all together. He did. He was one of the class clowns. We were all such a tight community, right? In school. And then I get the word that a month later that I didn't even have an inkling, and he took his life. That is, I don't know, that does something to you. Because I said, what didn't I see? What didn't I see in him? What need did I not see in him? Where could I have made a difference? And I struggled with that for so long. And this was like long before social media got big. I have watched people, due to how we were raised and what our schooling was, I watched them, including myself, walk away from God. Walk away from God because what the experience was that didn't make any sense to me as I got older and my mind started getting broader and I had questions. And then when my mom died, I said, you know what? If this is what all this is about, this God thing, this Jesus thing that mom and dad raised me with, like, yes, I believe in you, but if this is what it's all about, every stinking rule, every stinking if you don't, you're not good enough, every stinking when you mess up, they chastise you like the scribes and the Pharisees. I've been reading a lot about them in the Gospels this week in my private devotions, and in realizing this judgment of breaking a rule, and they were waiting with the rods, they were waiting to chastise you, and that is where I came from. I realized that a lot of my friends then thought the same thing, and what happened is the moment that they were able to get away from, which shouldn't have been God. It should have been it should have been getting away from a bad church, bad mentors, people who were giving God a very bad name. I It's hard. It's very hard. But somewhere along the line, God thought I was that I was worthy of the save. I think about, when do you reach out to save something? When do you reach? Have you ever had a plant that just looked like it was on its last legs? Now, if you don't have a green thumb, it's probably on its last leg anyways. Like, don't even attempt CPR. It's probably just gonna die, right? Like, you done. But I've had a plant and I've transplanted it, and I think, I don't know if this is even worth saving, but I'm gonna try. I'm going to try to nourish it. I'm going to try to water it. I'm going to get that special sauce of seasoning, that special growing sauce, and I'm going to try to grow through this a little at a time. I am going to take this loss. I am going to take this plant, that feels like it's going to die, that it's never going to be the same again, and I'm going to try to bring it through. Mm. And you just let it do its thing. And then I went back a week later. It wasn't dead, but it didn't look any different. But I kept going. I kept doing what I was doing. And about a month later, I saw two new sprouts. And now I look at that plant and it's got 100 leaves on it. It would have been so easy for me to say, dude, you've got one leaf left. Nope, we're pretty much done here. Let's just trash you. But see, I don't give up on things very easy, except myself. I've always given up on myself easy. I've always believed that I wasn't worthy. And I wouldn't do this with plants. I won't do it with other people. I don't do it with animals. Like, I'm going to be there. And I look at that and I thought it just needed its roots to sink in that dirt. It just needed a little bit of food. It just needed to be loved. It needed a little sunshine. It needed somebody to care enough to give it time. Time. And before I knew it, the roots became strong. And that nutrition took hold. And that plant, I'm so proud of it. I'm so proud of it because my focus afterwards was because I didn't give up on it. I realize I need to show myself that same kind of grace sometimes. And I don't. I don't. I realize that I wish I had come from a place where they gave me that kind of grace, or they gave kids that I went to school with. Hey, Tracy, kids I went to school with, that kind of grace. I think maybe my friend, had he been shown some grace, maybe he wouldn't have taken his life. That's not always the case. Sometimes you can't stop it. Whew. But what happens is we forget that there is a mighty God out there. There is a God out there who has been there whether you wanted him there or not. How do I know that? Because I was the person who said, be gone. I was the person who said, I don't even understand why you keep bringing this crud into my life. He didn't bring the crud into my life. I brought the crud into my life. I allowed it, the wrong people, the wrong stuff, whatever that looks like, the wrong decisions. But he took the crud. He took the crud. And he says, we're going to change this, Molly. We're going to take all these hard times. We're going to take all these bad decisions. We're going to take a bad marriage. We're going to take a hardened heart because of where your childhood was sometimes. We're going to take a difficult, dysfunctional family. And we are going to take all of that. We're going to take issues with your kids. We are going to take all this stuff. And Molly, I am going to pour my grace and my love. I am going to pour everything good on top of it. And we are going to turn this around. We are going to take those roots that are dying off from all that sickness that has been in your life. And we are going to make them strong. Molly, you got to give me time, Molly. You got to keep getting back up. I know. You just want to lay down. I get it. You just want to lay down. But Molly, get back up. Get back up, because this isn't going to be an instant miracle. This is going to be a miracle in the making. Now, you heard me say next month, I'm going to be 60 years old. You talk about not an instant miracle. But you know what I find out about instant? When something in my life happens and it's instant, you get an award, boom, like that. Right? You pass a class, boom, like that. No problem. Sailed through it. It was good. Do you know the ones that really hold on to you? The ones you fought for. The ones you drove for. The ones that when you thought God had left you, when you just in the moment, even if he was there, you felt completely alone and you thought, how am I going to get by this? How am I going to get through this? How am I going to make this work? You're not going to make this work alone. But when you step back and you let God, when you step back and realize this is because I got to tell you something. I can use this with the whole let me talk about Avon trips right now. Now, right now we don't have an Avon trip. It's all on pause is what Avon says. But I need everybody to know that for all these people, when you earn, and look, I think it's great that some of you earned it. Like your first year, boom, you earned it. That was it. That was good. Do you know that when I started my business 20 years ago, do you know that it took me 7 years to earn my first Avon trip? Let me say that again. 7 years. Can I tell you which trip was the most memorable? And Avon has sent me places. I have earned trips all over. But do you know which one stands out for me? The one that I finally nabbed, that I wanted so bad, that I wanted all of them in all the years before, but I never quite reached the goal. But it is it's the Alaskan cruise. The one where Lee, before he lost his sight completely, he wanted to stand on a glacier. That trip, all the trips before, all the cruises before we could have earned. And I wanted them, and I was devastated when I didn't earn them, when I just didn't make the cut, right? But the one that I worked the longest and the hardest for, that first trip I earned, that one will stay with me forever. Because when I looked back and I think of myself on that ship going to Alaska, I thought if I had quit when I did not earn all those other trips, I would not have been here for the one that was going to make the true difference in my life and business. God knew that He could get me to stay consistent, if He could get me to trust in Him that He had me where He wanted me, that if I could just keep digging, that this trip came. And the other ones were great too that were offered. I just didn't earn them. But who knew they were going to put a trip in front of me in the 7th year? Someplace that my husband wanted to go so badly. Guys, really, think about, look, if you ask anybody who is taking college courses right now, whatever it is, ask the realtors out there that if they didn't pass their test the first time and they had to go after it a second time, a third time, and I know many who have, I need you to know that when they finally hit the goal, that is the one that will tell you it was the most sweet. Not the one that comes the easiest. Not that one. God took all those disappointments, all those times that I could have quit, and I threatened to quit. I'm not any good at this. Everybody's going to accept me. People have been in this company long less than me, and they're running the trip, but here I am. I suck. Yeah, 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 yeah. No, He was molding me during every one of those things that I did not earn. But do you know He was molding me for? If you're watching this live, if you're watching this on replay, He molded those things. He molded me in the moment, right here, right now, because somebody's going to need this message. Somebody's going to need to hear this. And if I had not lived it and then been bold enough to share it, you would not believe it. So, all the mess in my life, and there has been a lot, and still is, okay? I keep saying, woo, Lord, how you going to use this one? Even when I wasn't in tune with God, He had a plan that no matter what road I went down, when I decided that I was going to walk a path with Him instead of constantly jumping paths, that He was going to use it for the greater good, that He was going to use it. Yeah, Leslie, absolutely. He turns your test into a testimony. If you had asked me even 10 years ago about God, I would have told you I believed in God. I would have told you that I knew absolutely 100% if I died, I was going to heaven because I believe He died on the cross. I believe that Jesus rose again the third day, and I believe that He did it for me. And the only reason I'm going is because I believe it, and He did it for me, and He said I could. My husband told me that because He said I could. If I believe, because there is nothing righteous about me. Oh, I can be a good person on good days, but I got news for you. Good ain't going to get you there. I'm a good person. Molly, I am nice to everybody. Molly, I am good. I help the old ladies cross the street. I help kids with their homework. Molly, I am the most patient person in the world. It's not going to get you there. Being good is not it. It's not. sometimes the struggles in your life show you what you're made of, and sometimes will show you just what you can do to get through something. What can you do to get through it? Avon, we all know, has not. We have seen better days in Avon. Oh, we're making headway, and it's great to be making headway again. And I have always had a side hustle in my life. You all know that. I always have, apart from my Avon, and I've always been smart enough to keep one active, whether that was Ubering or whether it was Instacarting or right now it's DoorDashing. I've always made sure that I have. When I first realized I was going to have to go back to DoorDashing, I took it as a blow. Wow, this sucks. This sucks. This is not where I wanted to be. This is not what I signed up for. My business should be in a better place. Blah 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 blah. This is what I want you to know. God said to me, well, let me tell you what I said to God. God, if this is where you still want me, I need to know. I need to know. Now, in my mind, when I said, God, if this is where you still want me, I need to know. What I was saying was, just make it all okay, Jesus. Just make it all okay, because I know you can do that, because you have the power to do that. So go correct every bad move that Avon's ever made. Go bring the people in, God. I just want you, poof. Just perform your magic. Because I'm asking for it, God, let's have you do it. That is what I was thinking of. But here's the real deal. Here's the real deal. What God said is, I hear you. I hear you, Molly. So we're going to do this a different way. Remember, I told you when it's not easy, when you get to where you want to be or where you need to be or where God wants you, whatever that, I hope it's all the same. You can look back and you can say, wow. So I started door dashing again. Remember, I moved down here right before the pandemic. I couldn't really establish a customer base down here unless it was online. So I couldn't get out and do my thing, and my thing is people. That's what I do. I do people. When we started this last January, so over a year now, I have plugged and reached over 70 new customers. I have I have places that allow me to leave my brochures simply because in this side hustle, I get to know people. I love people. You all know that. That's why I'm here. I love people. And every time the phone rings, oh, hey, Molly, I found you. Oh, Molly, I found your brochure. Oh, Molly, could you tell me about this opportunity and how I can? Oh, Molly. And then I realize that everybody he's put me in front of, every homeless person that he has put me in front of, has made me realize, Jesus, thank you so much for the roof that you put over my head, because sometimes I forget and now I don't. Every person that I see who's sitting alone, who just seems like they're having a bad day, or they answer that door and they just want to throw the pizza I'm delivering, it seems like, but I can go, hey, how you doing? I'm here with your food and it's hot. It smelled good all the way here. Have a great day. And then they add an extra tip. I walked into the Papa John's yesterday, no, day before yesterday. And the guy behind the counter, who I deal with all the time, he says, do you know what I love about you? And I said, well, hopefully that I always get your stuff delivered. And he says, no. It's that every single time you walk in, you always have a smile on your face. He says, if you have stuff going on, I wouldn't know about it, because we have people who come in here and they're rude and they mumble and you just got to take it. He says, and then you come in, and he says, and I am just like, I've never seen her without a smile. And then you hear the people in the back, no, we haven't either. That's why she's one of our preferred drivers. In the midst of all that, God said, you be your best self through me, and I'm going to take care of you, Molly. Don't you worry about those bills. Don't you worry about whether you're going to be able to build your business, because I am going to provide a way for you. I'm going to open doors, and you are going to be okay. But in the meantime, he has grown those roots in me again that says, never let your tribe give up. Never let your tribe quit in the midst of issues and problems, because, guys, that tells me we're getting ready to see growth. When I'm having problems with trusting God, I realize that when I say, God, help me lean on you, watch what you ask for, because he's not just going to magically wave that wand and say, hey, now you're going to be able to lean on me because I just sprinkled my magic dust on you. He doesn't work that way, but he is going to put the things in your path that are going to give you the opportunity to lean on him or not. To have patience or not. Please, God, give me patience with my kids. Well, do you think he's just going to go boom, give you patience? God, this is not, guys. It's not a magic wand. It's learning. It's walking through the trenches. It's getting there. It's, are you going to handle it different and take a moment and say, okay, Lord, I need to be more patient here, God. I need to be. Help me in this moment. And what happens is you start to change some things that you're doing. Because, see, nothing is going to be different if you don't change. If you always think everything's going to be rotten, no good, horrible, guess what? Whatever you think, that's what it's going to be. Or you have the opportunity to bring yourself out of the pit. You do. You have the opportunity to take his hand and let him lead you. Let me read you something here. I am a mighty God. Nothing is too difficult for me. I have chosen to use weak ones like you to accomplish my purposes. Your weakness is designed to open you up to my power. Therefore, do not fear your limitations or measure the day's demands against your strength. What I require of you is to stay connected to me, living and trusting dependence on my limitless resources. When you face unexpected demands, there is no need to panic. Remember that I am with you. Talk with me and listen while I talk you through each challenging situation. I am not a careless God. When I allow difficulties to come into your life, I equipped you fully to handle them. Relax in my presence, trusting in my strength. I equipped you fully. So let me ask you. Okay? I wanted that plant to revive, right? Now I could sit there, look at that plant and say, "Hey God, could you please make my plant better?" Right? Please, God, do that. Could you do that for me, please? I don't ask a lot. Well, sometimes I do, but if you could, God, thank you. Well, in the meantime, we have running water. And I already have the beautiful fresh dirt that doesn't have any bugs or any of that stuff in it. I have the nutrients that I need to feed it. There are all the tools. The tools are right there. But if I didn't take that plant and transplant it, clean the roots, nourish it, water it, speak a little love to it from now and then, you know what I'm saying? And give it time. Let me be honest. Nothing would have happened. But Molly, I asked him to make that plant better. Girl, he gave you the tools. He gave you what you needed, but you decided not to put them to work. Sometimes everything that you need is there, but you've got to put in what it takes to get you to where you need to be. Here's another thing I read, and I thought this was huge. I am your Lord. Seek me as friend and lover of your soul. But remember that I am also the King of Kings, sovereign over all. You can make some plans as you gaze into the day that stretches out before me, but you need to hold those plans tentatively, anticipating that I may have other ideas. The more important thing to determine is what to do right now instead of scanning the horizon of your life, looking for things that need to be done. Concentrate on the task before you and the one who never leaves your side. Let everything else fade into the background. This will unclutter your mind, allowing me to occupy more and more of your consciousness. So, I read this and it says in Proverbs 19:21 it says, "Many are the plans in a man's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails." I kept reading that over and over again. Many are the plans. I have many plans that I would like, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails. You know, sometimes when things don't work out, sometimes when something happens, people die. And it's so hard when it happens. God says, yeah, this happened, but I'm going to use this. I know you lost that job, but I got something bigger for you. I know that your business is suffering a little bit right now, but I'm going to show you what I'm going to give you on top of this because Molly, I got a bigger impact for you. Your impact's going to be better. Molly, I'm going to give you another lesson to share with people that you love. And he does. Now, sometimes I'm fighting and screaming. I don't want to do this. I have a better way, Lord. I have a better way. Couldn't we possibly just go over here and go down this road? Because I'm telling you, I can make that work. I can make it work. Now, I could still go. He doesn't say, no, you're not going that way. But you know what? Sometimes, if we just allow him to lead, if we don't, we will never know the blessings that maybe have nothing to do with where we're still going to end up. We may not meet the people we were supposed to meet who could help us and help us down the road. Sometimes we just think we know it all. We don't. We don't. Society will tell you, you know it all. You have a degree, you know it all. It always cracks me up. All these companies who want to hire the people who have these big degrees, and I've got my master's in sales and my this and that, and then you see them in there, and you realize that piece of paper, I think it's great if you graduate. I think it's great if you have it. But if you think that piece of paper and sitting in a classroom alone is what is going to bring you the highlight of your life, I got news for you. No. Because let me be clear. I could work circles at almost 60 around the majority of the people that they put over us. Yeah. You know why? Because I have never gotten out of the trenches of life. I have never gotten out of the trenches of business. I am never the one who just sits behind my desk and makes things happen. And if you can, I think that's great. That's great. But when you are out there, see, God didn't mean for us to sit behind a desk and make an impact. Oh, you can. You can. I made a post the other day about influencers. I hate that word. I hate the word influencer. I can't stand it. Can't stand it. I want to influence you to do something else. I want to influence you to use this product because what? So I can get a whole bunch of followers or whatever that is. No, 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 no. What I do know is when I believe in a product that my company has, nobody can sell it better than me. Nobody. Because when I believe in it, it comes forth in my presentation. It comes forth from my heart in my testimony of the product. I believe in a righteous God. And do you know why people are almost like, well, maybe there is this greater being that always cracks me up. Oh, I believe in something bigger. And I'm like, well, what is it? Why is it that you want to say you don't believe in God? Why? What is it? But when I say, I believe in this is why, and then you keep showing up live or on replay to say, well, what's Molly got to say today? What she got to say about this God? You don't even know it. God is moving in this moment. Not to make you a holy roller, not to make you an every Sunday church goer, not to follow every rule that the Bible has ever laid out, not to be the best Christian, because I got news for you. All of you pretty much suck at it, okay? Myself included. Because none of us get it right, and that's the problem. Too many people think they've done so much wrong that it's not good enough for God. I got news for you. It's not good enough for God. You want to know something else? He did it anyways. Let me tell you something. He loves you anyways. He wants you to choose him anyways. And you know what? He knows you're going to get it wrong tomorrow too. But you know what? He can use it anyways. He wants you to choose him. He wants you to choose him. I always wonder. I always wonder what in the world God could want to lose a broke down failure in so much of life like me. And what's funny is it seems like the more I own up to how broken I am, he keeps using those broken moments to love on people like you. Because that's what he's called me to do. He says, Molly, I got two things for you. Molly, I want you to love me with all your heart and all your soul and all your might. And Molly, I want you to love other people, even the ones who are hard to love, even the ones who are trying to punish you because you're not living life how you want it, how they want you to live it. The people, Molly, who are just would love to see you fall down the next time you do, and you know I'm going to. The people who see you not acquire this and they're praising, yeah, I knew she wouldn't earn that. It's okay. Because I got news for you. God is showing me that there is something deeper in you that's hurt or something that makes you not want to see me be successful. That's okay. Because I'll take the lack of success every single moment to be able to show you that you can't cut through the love of Jesus and destroy that. And that's the only reason I still love you. It's because of the love of Jesus. Take this verse with you guys. Luke 1:79. To shine on those living in darkness and in the shadow of death, to guide our feet into the path of peace. It doesn't matter what kind of a dark place you're in. It doesn't matter if you're hurting so bad right now. I'm telling you, you can come out of this valley. You're going to come out of this hurt. If you let him, he will use your valleys. He will use you to make a difference in somebody else's life for the glory of God, This is more probably what you're going to get in the coming Tuesdays. Again, he wouldn't leave me alone. So we're going to stay away from the chosen for a little bit. Maybe he'll direct me back there. I don't know. But right now, God says there's a lot of experiences. There's a lot of hurt out there. There's a lot of anger out there. There's a lot of people who think they can't get back up. And my job is to share my story and let you know that you absolutely can get back up. And I'm here to help you. I am here to show you every day that if I can, at almost 60, God's got you. Take his hand. Let him love on you. Choose him. And stop looking for the magic wand. I love you guys. I'm praying for you. Don't forget to drop your prayer request. If you have one, you can put it out here in public. If not, please feel free to PM me and pray for each other. But above all, love one another. I'll see you next Tuesday. Thanks.